Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Imladris Pod. My name's Olivia. Today it's going to be a little bit different because I'd really like to talk a little bit about how I manage my queue, which has gotten quite large now, but I've gotten to a point at the moment where I'm pretty much just working on one project at a time, maybe two, and it's been a lot of mental work. So I will go ahead and just kind of show you guys a little bit later on in the video what that looks like. I'll show you guys my Ravelry and my Trello, which I use to organize my queue for the most part. But first of all, I wanted to kind of show you guys what I've been up to lately, which, I don't know, it hasn't been a whole lot because I've been focusing mainly on this one project. I've been focusing on this one pair of socks that I'm making for my grandma. And I believe I talked about these last time. These are the bee socks. So this is the first one. And I am so happy with how this turned out. I wasn't doing heel and gusset for a while because I was like, oh, I don't like it. But it turns out I like it because now I like knitting socks. And I'm just so pleased with how this came out. The only little thing I don't love is that when I did the Kitchener stitch on one side, I got like this little bump. So I really tried to just kind of secure that. I don't know. But next time I do the toe, I'm gonna try to find out a way to not get that. I found out a way to not get it like when you start the Kitchener stitch. Like I didn't do any prep work or whatever. I just jumped right in. So that fixed that, but yeah, let's see, let me pull out the other one. This is the other sock. So making really good progress, and I'm actually going to be visiting my grandma. Sorry, that was loud. I'm going to be visiting my grandma this Saturday, and I would love to have these finished by then. I think I can do it because I thought, oh, I've been working on these for a while, but no, I've actually only been working on these since last Sunday. So in 1 week, I got this one done and over half of this one. So I think that by Saturday, I can finish the second sock and give these to her, which I'm so excited about. And I think I mentioned it in my last video, but I'm gonna try making these grippy socks because my grandma's getting up in age and I don't want her to get hurt because of wearing my socks. So yeah, it'll be a little bit of an experiment, but it'll be good. Also, there's two more whips. So these socks are kind of on the back burner right now, but this is my first buy sock. I'm using the diamond heel sock pattern by Laura at Always Be Kind Yarn, and I've made a pair of these before. I showed them in another video. I'm just at the toe, but when I got the bee yarn from my kindness subscription, I just really wanted to make these for my grandma, so put the buy socks on the back burner, put myself on the back burner, and just decided to go gung-ho on those socks. So that's what I'm doing. And I do have one more whip. This one was I just really wanted to start another garment because what I would love to do is kind of just have like a sock, a garment, and then a miscellaneous thing on the needles at a time, and no more than that. Like if I have any more than that, those other things are gonna be on the back burner. But, so this is it's really not much yet, but this is gonna be my Josephine vest. If you can see that, this is Surrey Alpaca. This yarn is by my friend Savannah at Savannah Rose Handmade. This yarn in particular has made an appearance before when I did my yarn stash reorganization video. But yeah, now I'm finally making that vest, which I've talked about probably a billion times. Just, you know, because I have such a massive queue, and I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna do this, but I just got that whim. I wanted to do it, so I'm doing it now, and it's actually It's pretty weird working with Surrey for the first time, but it's so soft. I might actually like it more than mohair. I wasn't sure about it at first because the texture is just, it's not, I don't know how to describe it. I feel like mohair has a more even halo to it, and Surrey, I don't know, it just kind of looks a little bit more hairy to me. But when I felt it and I started working with it, I'm like, okay, I think I get it now. So yeah, that'll be the Josephine vest. And I'm very excited to finally have that on the needles. I was going to start the Sunshine Tee by Andrea Gahn, but I don't have the right needles for that because they require, I think it's size 3 for the body. And I don't think I have any size 3 needles. So I had to buy some, and I just was like, I'm really trying not to buy things very much right now, like in general, but especially knitting supplies, just because I have everything I need right now for a lot of projects. So I think that one's gonna have to wait a little bit. But yeah, so those are my whips. Not much going on right now, just like I said, because I'm just trying to focus on 1 or 2 things at a time, and that's really been working for me because I'm actually, I mean, you saw how quickly I'm getting those socks done. That's kind of what I like to see. I don't like to have too many things with just a little bit of progress being made and not being able to decide what to work on. I don't like that. I mean, I have ADHD, so it's so easy to just be like, oh, I want to cast on something new and shiny, and then you start it and you're working on it, and then it just becomes this other thing that I have to work on, and it's not as new and shiny anymore. So I've been really trying to work around my ADHD tendencies and really get things done. So there's a couple more things I just wanted to kind of show off before I really get into it. So I submitted a couple things to the fair, local county fair, and I did win one little ribbon. This is my ribbon, oh gosh, what is it called? Ribbon candy cow that I made. And this is a pattern by Needle Fox Arts that I tested, and I made it with Savannah Rose Handmade yarn. And I got 3rd place. I think it's in the, I'm not sure. There's like a bunch of accessories laid out. And yeah, I got a little ribbon. I got $4. So I was really pumped about that. I wasn't like expecting to win or anything, so that was a nice surprise. And then Hank didn't win anything, but he's got his little entry tag on him, which I think is just so cute. There were so many chickens at my county fair this year. It was like a coordinated effort. And everyone was commenting on like, oh, I love the chickens. There were so many of them. Did you guys plan this? And yes, yeah, we did. We planned that. And actually Taylor, who designed this, her chicken won 1st place. So that was very exciting, well deserved. Yeah, so the fair, that was fun. And then one other little exciting thing was, so I'm part of the Crazy Sock Lady membership here on YouTube, and there's like a Facebook group where we did a swap this month in July. And I got my yarn, like I sent off some minis and some tea and chocolate and like stitch markers and stuff. And what I got back was like, I was spoiled. I got these 2 skeins of yarn in the mail. Did not buy them, so they don't count. Yeah, I told them I love pink and they delivered. I love this. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, because I honestly, with how much I love pink, I really don't knit with pink very often. And it's kind of sad. And there's this other one where it's got some flecks of blue in it and yellow. There's yellow. This first one is Southern Skeins. It's from a sock set from last April. 80% merino, 20% nylon fingering. And then this other one is by Other Round. Oh, On the Round. Sometimes I have trouble reading cursive. And looks like R. On the Round spontaneous sock yarn, superwash wool nylon 75-25 mix fingering. I don't know what these are going to be yet. I mean, socks are always a safe bet at this point for me, but we'll just see. I'm not making any plans for them yet. And they also sent me this really cute bag with all sorts of little notions in it. I've been really pumped about these little tiny scissors, which I already have a little tiny pair of scissors, but these are like super tiny. Look how tiny those are. I love them, and I've been using them all the time. I've been using this bag a lot, and they sent me like a little measuring thing. I love it. And they sent me a bunch of stitch markers, so pull a couple of those out. Oh, this one's really cute. Sent me some of these ones. Oh, if you can even see it. Anyways, you can see it's like a little flower, and then there's like a little teapot. There were like some Alice in Wonderland themed ones, it looked like. Yeah, so that was a really sweet surprise. Well, not really a surprise, but actually opening it was, I didn't know what to expect. Dropped a stitch marker. So yeah, that's all my stuff, whips and stuff. I don't have any FOs besides that one sock, but I don't know if I would count one sock as an FO. It's like half an FO. So yeah. How I like to organize my queue. I started on Ravelry, and I would just start with ranking what I wanted to make the most, or like what I had the yarn for, in no like cut and dry order. But as my queue kept growing and growing, and I kept acquiring more and more yarn, I started using this site called Trello. And Trello is free. This is not sponsored in any way, but Trello is a way for you to organize, or I don't know, you kind of like make lists, but you can see them all on one screen, and you can like organize them into like modules, and you can color code them, and you can add photos and due dates and all that good stuff. And you can even like go into one of the items and add a checklist in there and a description. So I've really been enjoying it. I use it for school and for knitting. But for my queue, so I have many different categories, and I will probably end up just showing some screenshots when I get a chance. But on my far left, I've got like my important list, and those are things that have a due date coming up, or that I'm just really wanting to, maybe it doesn't have a due date, but I'm still giving it to someone, and so that makes it important for me. So you didn't see, but I just went and double checked my Trello so I could see what categories I had set. But the next one that I have is the Summer Stitchorama, which is like a special category I have temporarily because the yarn store that I go to, like the independent local yarn store that I go to, is doing what they call a Summer Stitchorama. So I pay a little bit to enter, and then they give you like a bunch of prompts to choose from, and once you complete I think 12 of them, you get entered like in a drawing. But there's also checkpoints along the way so you can win prizes. But yeah, so I'm tracking my Summer Stitchorama, and I've completed 6 of them so far, I believe, and so I'm using Trello to help me keep track of maybe what I think would fit in each prompt that I could do before the end of the summer. I feel like I'm not gonna finish, but we still have a whole month, and then part of September left, so you never know. But that's just kind of a temporary thing. But then usually right after the important column, I have not important, and these are whips. Let me just specify important. Usually whips and planned projects go in there because I want to keep track of like the important things that I'm working on right now and what I have coming up in one column, and so I'll have due dates and stuff like that. And then not important, those are just whips, and those are just the whips that I'm actively working on but don't need to be completed by a certain day and are not gifts. So like for instance, my Josephine vest is in that column, and my Primavera collar is in that column, that I'm making with Halloween yarn. So it just kind of helps me differentiate like what I feel like I should be working on and what I don't really need to be working on at the moment. But I also don't just limit myself to that one column. I work on whatever is most pressing. If there's something coming up like this Saturday, I want to give my grandmother the socks, and I've been enjoying it, so I've been working on pretty much just those socks. But then after that, I'm probably going to be going to town on that Josephine vest because that's really what I want to work on. And then after that column, I've got a crochet column because I'm really not very much of a crocheter, but I still want to kind of keep in mind what I'm interested in making. So for example, I really want to make a granny square scrappy blanket with like leftover fingering or something like that. So I keep that in there to kind of remind myself like, hey, this is a project that you want to make, so don't forget about it. And then yeah, there's a few other things that are in there that I don't know when I'm gonna get to them because I usually just feel like knitting, but when I see crochet, I'm like, man, I really want to make that. So that's that. And then probably my biggest column after that is my planned / have yarn category. And those are projects where they're on my Ravelry queue and they're in Trello. I've assigned yarn to them, or I bought yarn specifically for those projects, and or I want to make them like before the end of the year or something like that. So I have that all sort of in order. I'll have a few things at the top that I'm really dead set on making. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot of order to it because I don't want to. I don't want to like plan out my whole year of knitting or anything like that, because I know myself well enough to know that I will change my mind. I will see things I like. So it's really just kind of a pool of things that I have to pick from. If let's say I finish all my current whips and I'm like, man, I wonder what I'm going to make this time. So I go into that and I can pick something that I have the yarn for and start that. And it's super easy. And then after that, it kind of gets murky because then I have, after that one I have my socks column. I ended up separating socks from the rest of everything because I like to always have a pair of socks on the needles. So having that separated kind of helps me be like, okay, when I finish these socks, I'll just go to these ones instead of trying to scroll through all my other projects. Yeah, I have like some specific socks in mind, but I mostly like vanilla socks, but using particular yarn. But then I think there's like a pair of frilly socks I want to make. And I know that I want to try making socks with like that folded picot edge at some point, because that is super, super cute. So then after that one, I have my miscellaneous pool of patterns, and I do not have the yarn for these. I just really like them and want to kind of keep them in mind so I don't forget they exist. I don't remember off the top of my head what is in there, but I think I've got like the petite knit Wednesday sweater in there. I haven't made any of her garments yet, but I do really like that sweater. So I've got that in there. I've got a few other things. I don't know. It's just, if it's a really good place to look if I am like at a yarn festival or I see some yarn I really like, and I can go in there and see if there's a project that I can assign yarn to. And that's been really helpful. And then, what did I write? Oh, yeah, the last column I have is my hiatus column, and the reason I put it so far away that I have to actually scroll horizontally to get it is because I don't want to see, honestly, I don't really want to see the hiatus list, because if I see it, then I'm thinking about it, and I just don't. The point of that list is to put it out of my mind and to not think about those projects. And honestly, I'm considering moving a couple of my designs to that column, because like one of my designs is pretty much all color work, and I've just been not in the headspace to do color work. And then the other one is like a shawl I'm designing that I've been designing for a while now that I don't have the headspace for right now. So that's really what it comes down to. If I move something over there, it really lifts, it takes a weight off my shoulders, and I can look at my new list of whips, which is a lot smaller, and be like, okay, I'm really not doing too bad here. And so it's been helping me not feel bad about really having a lot of whips on the needles, but kind of putting some of them in timeout mentally and like on my list. That's been helping more than I thought it would. And I don't feel like it's cheating or anything like that, because they're still on the needles. It feels like I'm allowing myself to just kind of, I don't know, I'm allowing myself to relax a little bit more, which really that's what knitting's really about for me. It's about winding down and just kind of being present. I mean, it's also about being creative, but I feel like being creative is like a different facet of knitting for me than the relaxation part, because being creative gets me all fired up and thinking and stuff, and sometimes I'm just not there. Like, I don't know. Lately I've been more on the dreaming up ideas side of things, more so than actually making things. Although today I'm planning to start a small design that I have been dreaming up in the past week or so, but I want to keep it a surprise. Like, I don't want to talk about what it is yet until it's the right time, and I think you'll know why once you see it. So I will say though, it's an amigurumi, and I haven't designed an amigurumi since I used to crochet amigurumi a lot. I don't crochet it anymore, I just knit amigurumi now, but I've been knitting so many Mochi Mochi Land patterns lately that it's making me want to come up with my own designs. I'm very excited for that, and I hope that it was kind of helpful to see my process and to hopefully reassure anyone that it's okay to let some projects sit around for a while. I don't think you have to feel bad about that or anything, because it's really, knitting is supposed to help us relax, right? So if a project is not bringing you joy, or you still want it but it's not bringing you joy right now, it's definitely okay to put it away and come back to it when you're in the right headspace. Anyways, I don't like to talk for too terribly long, so I hope this was helpful. And if you have any other things that help you organize your knitting in any way, definitely put them down in the comments, because I'm really interested to see how other people do this. Or if you don't at all, I'm interested to hear about that too, because I honestly, not organizing something like this would make me go crazy, but I know that a lot of people, it works for them. It works for them to not put an energy into organizing their knitting, which I admire because I need it. Like, my brain is a mess. So having that being able to externally organize it helps me organize it mentally. Anyways, thanks for watching my podcast, and have a great day. It's like the end of July for me. Probably, I know some people, I think it's the 1st of August. So have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Hi, Cosmo. Hello. He's just chilling. Oh, big yawn. There we go.